me a heart attack. And now we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of the Mia Connect Power Chat. I've got four experts that I'm going to jump into here in a second. But first, we're going to pull up some comments. Is everybody ready for that? Like, just to get into our little comment chat real quick.
Right.
Woo! Because you guys know who these people are. Here we go. We've got Irene, Brodie. Afternoon BatPack, I love it. Lovely to see everyone. We have the Craft Star. You're gonna need a bigger HOA. Looking forward to the Mia Connect. Nice shark reference. We love that one.
Rhonda.
Yeah, that is our girl Rhonda. We've got Lansfield so ready to get BatCrapCrazy with the Mia Connect. Rebekah, Radice, Eric, Enge, Ben Fisher, and Stephan Hovnanian. Please say his name right. All on the show with Mia Voss, right? Let's Stephan, let's talk about you real quick. How many times do people jack your name up in a week, would you say, average?
Story of my life.
That's what you get for the fancy name. We love it.
That's the worst part.
Yeah, you're like, I didn't make this one up. Susan Serra says, it's all about me. I like the show. Excellent.
We've got Hi, Susan.
Hey, Susan. And let's see, we've got a couple others in the audience. Do you guys have anybody you want to shout out while we're getting shout outs, and then we'll get to you?
Shout out to Roxanne Davenport. She's representing. She's in the house. Lance Field's here.
Yep.
Christopher Vogelmann.
Christopher is, and I'm sure Snowshoe the cat.
Neil Ferree. Yeah, Neil Ferree.
Neil Ferree. He's got some good questions for us too. We've got Lynne, Knowlton. I'll be there with bells on and strong coffee or stiff drink or the same but different. Can't wait.
Well, I have to call out Vic here.
Thank you.
You know,
Eli. Oops, sorry.
He's here for the Eric Enge. That's a new. This could be a new hashtag. Eric Enge engaging experience. The quadruple E. Plot a course, warp 9. Oh, I love it. Hi, Vivek. How do you say his name?
How do I say it? I just call him Vivek.
That would be the way I would say
the rest of it.
I love it. So listen, guys, I'm going to talk about my panel real quick. I'm going to go one by one. Ladies first. Rebekah, Radice, welcome to the program, sweetie. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing terrific.
Let me clap for you. All right, sweetie, tell us where you are and what you do.
I am in Los Angeles. Gorgeous day. Lots of sunshine. I am a social media strategist, own a boutique digital marketing agency, so help people take an established offline brand and turn it into online currency. So exciting to work with people on a social media strategy that actually works.
I love that. And listen, guys, pay attention to the introduction that each of them do because they have nailed it. So you need to get your elevator speech down like girlfriend just did right here at Party People. That's my advice for today. So, well, welcome to the show. And next up I have Stephan Hovnanian. I like to say it both ways. Welcome to the show, brother. What do you do and where are you out of?
Well, I don't know. First of all, you totally put me on the spot because my elevator pitch is still evolving. But I'm outside of Boston and originally from the Philadelphia area, so that's why I don't drop my R's. But I have been in the web business, web strategy, email marketing, web design, that kind of stuff for about 14 years and totally love it. I've incorporated Google Plus into that and sort of taken on a life of its own as far as the whole G Plus strategy thing goes. Wrote a series of ebooks called Google Plus Pro Tips and host with Ben on the other side, at least of my film strip, the weekly Google Plus Business Spotlight, 12:30 Eastern, Wednesdays. Be there.
And I would say that you have drank a lot of Google Plus Kool-Aid, yes?
Yes.
Big helpings of it. I love that, though. I mean, you have definitely made that into your niche. And then you have another book coming out too soon, right? We'll talk about that. And listen, guys, thinking back to when was our last show? This is the idea why we came up with the shows because we did this in, I believe, in November, and we added Eric this time, right? Eric Enge, but we did it back in November, and we talked a lot about that. And each one of these guys has done what they said they were going to do, which is awesome because you were going to write a book, and then Rebekah, you've done a new program as well. So everybody's getting GSD, right, guys?
That's right.
So we did that right before the show. We got stuff done. All right, next up we have my brother Ben Fisher. How are you, darling?
Happy HOA Friday, everybody.
Holla. Let's get a little clapping for that. All right, Ben Fisher, what do you do? Where are you?
All right, let's see. I am currently residing in Phoenix, Arizona. I too come from the East Coast by lake, just like Stephan. I lived right next door. I was in New Jersey. Got family over there in PA and Philly.
Nice.
Let's see. What do? I don't really do anything. No. been helping small businesses understand and then get online since 1994. What I currently do is I am the founder of a little company called Steady Demand, and what we do in a nutshell, beyond the, get ready for it everybody, by the way, building Google Plus Analytics tools, drink.
There's the Kool-Aid.
All right. So,
that was the Kool-Aid, exactly.
Right, exactly. That's the game, of course, you know, if you say the word.
And I'm mad because I was muted.
You have to drink.
Drink. Mm-hmm.
So beyond that thing that we make, which is Google Plus Analytics, also we are basically we are brand page management company, and we do writing. Basically, we do Google Plus for people who are too busy to do Google Plus.
By the way.
Yeah, and you know, talking about GSD, right? You know, beforehand we were talking about growing our company, and we were talking about getting that tool done.
I'm going to be very hydrated by the end of the show.
Yes, you are. You know, of course, Stephan.
Water, by the way, people. Water. Come on.
The fabulous Stephan joined our team, as well as, of course, Dustin Stout has joined our team as of last month. You know, so we couldn't be more proud.
And that is I mean, you definitely have GSD. And for those of you who don't know what GSD is, I'm going to clean it up for you. It's get stuff done, but I'm sure when you know me, I don't say get stuff done. And we just GSD'd right before the show got started. Boom, that's how we roll, right, guys?
Absolutely.
And you really did. You have since then. And then last but not least, because the last time I had him on my show, it really was more of his car seat than him. Eric Enge, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. So
let me clap for you. There we go.
I do have to point out that it was a Tesla car seat, however. It was a hell of a car seat.
Son of a...
So I think people enjoyed that more than they would have enjoyed my contribution probably anyway. So
that's right. I was going to say that because it was an impressive car seat. So if you're going to have a car seat, make it a Tesla, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So.
All right. Tell us about you, where you're out of, and what you do.
I'm also out of the Boston area, about 30 minutes west of Boston. So Stephan and I managed to get together for our HIRLs whenever we have Mark Traphagen in town, and we're doing one this coming Tuesday where we're actually going to try a hangout on air in kind of a town meeting style.
Nice.
Right? So we're going to have about 25 people in our lunchroom here. We've got a 55-inch monitor on the wall with a camera that points down and captures the whole audience area. And then we're going to have Ronnie Bincer piped in to do a live HOA event with us. So we're going to see how that goes. It's going to be great fun. But to get to the other part of it, Stone Temple Consulting is my company. We do content marketing, we do SEO strategy, well, SEO, and we do social media strategy, but not the fingers on the street part of that. But basically what we really do is we help enterprises of all sizes get more traffic and more business online.
I like the enterprises of all sizes.
Yes, indeed.
You got to get the little quip in there when you do that too. That's awesome. And you are partnered up.
I just got to say, that's an awesome elevator pitch, by the way.
That was pretty good. Everybody roll that tape back and listen to that one too. That one's got some legs to it. Everybody does. So as you guys can tell, we've got some big strengths on social media. So any of the questions that you have for social media, please let us know. Obviously, we all are emphasizing Google Plus because this is where we live and breathe for the most part. But we were talking about it in the green room too, Stephan, about how we were cross-posting on all that. So I know we do have a question up here. You guys ready to jump into some questions, and then we can kind of go general as well. You up for that?
Roll.
Listen, BatPack, seriously, for reals, we want your questions. Like, you may as well pick their brain, because I've got a notepad over here. I'm going to sit back and just roll while these guys go. So, Neil Ferree had a question. He says that Google Alerts will go dark soon, which we were all kind of like, what? What does this expert panel recommend as the top social monitoring tools and techniques? Mentions come to mind. Commune.it is cool. Topsy is terrific. Social Oomph scrapes pretty well. And my right tag results are good for hashtags. What is the best listening tool tactic for G+? Everybody drink, because I just said tool. Now I'm going to drink while you all answer. Yay!
I would just search. I mean, search and Nodex are pretty much the two things that you could do right now that give you the most access to the people talking about your content and your brand. So
and tell everybody what Nodex is, because I really want to make sure for the newbies, give me a little bit of info on that one.
Yeah, so Nodex is a social network analysis tool.
Good one.
We knew it was coming. But do we drink when we talk about Ben's tool or any tool in general?
Well, and we got feisty already, party people.
All I can say is I'm glad I brought an extra drink with me.
You guys all just served that one up on a seat.
That one is going into somebody's little quip thing of I'm sure Mark Seidel, who might be in the audience, hi brother, may make that into a good little soundbite. But no, that was actually a good explanation of it. I like that too. Who else has any suggestions for us on the question?
So I'll throw in a thought, which is I think it really depends a little bit on why you're doing the monitoring.
Ooh, good point.
So, yeah, if this were like one of those shows where you get a little, you count up how many good points you make, I get a ding for that, right? Oh, one, to get the name of the show. I was watching one of those sports shows yesterday. Sorry.
No, I'm off the horn.
I have a button. Oh, here, this one.
So, yeah.
There you go.
So, because if you really want to be the one who's first to know, right, and get that share out, then that takes you down one kind of path. Now, that's actually not what I try to do. So I actually look at the question differently, because just picking up on what Jay Baer has become recently famous for saying, which is, okay, when you reshare some piece of news, the main thing you need to add to it is, and therefore, and then some commentary and analysis. So for me, that's what I try to do, and that's the reason why I want to know what's going on. Google Plus does that for me already, and I actually, I learn about all my news really from people just sharing stuff on Google Plus or Twitter for that matter, and then I reshare it from there, and I add my and therefore analysis.
I think you just nailed it for anybody who is new to Google Plus. Not the link dropping and then just the share, because that's the first thing. I usually kind of encircle people. I'm like, you got nothing. You got nothing for me of adding why it's of interest to you or why it should be of interest to me. And then don't you think that's kind of like that fun double hit that you get when you see somebody that shared it and then they've got their little and therefore on it too? Peace out. I would love Jay Bear, by the way. He's awesome. So that's great.
No, absolutely. And that doesn't mean there isn't value to the other part of it, because not like a month ago or 2 months ago, there was some article in Marketing Land about how Google Plus had really high engagement. And I just happened to be the first person who reshared the Google Plus post on it. And lo and behold, 2 hours later, Vic Gundotra was still at Google Plus, reshared my post and gave me a hat tip.
Oh, so, I bet you needed an adult diaper for that moment. You got so excited.
And it's like, whoa, but it's just not going to be me. I'm too busy doing other stuff all the time. That's like a lark. You can't count on that happening.
Good point too. Is it that you're sharing it for clients? Is it you're sharing for yourself? I think a lot of people on here they're their own brand. But that is a good point of like who's going to get there. It's a contest here on Google Plus, isn't it? Who posted it first?
I will say this though. I mean, from a tool standpoint, that we've got social mention. Social mention is really good. I mean, of course you mentioned Topsy. That's pretty decent as well. But social mention allows you to also, once you set up a query, you can go ahead and set up an RSS feed for it too. Now, of course, you can't bring that into Google Reader, but you can bring it into any RSS reader that you have. Now, a way you could kind of daisy chain all of that together, because I believe like Sprout Social and even Hootsuite also do listening on Google Plus as well. But I mean, let's just say social mention is higher quality, right, as far as what you're looking for in more real time. You could just pipe that into, say, Sprout Social as as a feed, and then do your social list. What's that?
Through Feedly.
Right, through Feedly. Yeah,
and that's such a great point, Ben. That's exactly how I use the two tools together. I know Stephan and I are huge fans. We're BatCrapCrazy about the Sprout Social, and it's because, to me, it's all about simplicity. You've got to find a simple way to manage all of that conversation that's going on around you, and it's just very simple to pull it all into one location and let it do the work for you, going out there and taking a look at where are all the mentions about your name, your company name, your whatever those keywords or terms or phrases are that people are talking about in and around you. So back to Eric's point, I think it really all depends on strategy. What's your goal? What are you listening for? And then what are you doing with that information? Are you just looking to be proactive and getting involved in the conversation?
Right.
Are you looking to respond? Are you looking to share that content? And so it's really getting very clear on what you're trying to do with that information once you've got it.
And I'd say, you guys, wouldn't you say that's the first thing people should do is make their list? What is it, and then what's the list? What are the words? What are my buzz phrases? What am I going to be about, or what's the information I need? And what you say also, communities on Google as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love communities.
Like find your common one, because they're going to be the ones, if you are looking for, first of all, you're building an audience, you're building a relationship, because that's your people that are sharing things that you like, so you're already building it up with them, and they get excited when you reshare, just like we all do. And then it's like shooting fish in a barrel, because it's all right there.
Yeah, and it just makes it so easy, too. Communities are wonderful. Once you really identify a few communities that are talking about the same exact stuff you're talking about, you start to get a feel for who's sharing quality content, who's got their finger on the pulse of what's going on within your industry, and they make it very easy for you to curate content and share very timely, relevant content.
Time is money too, right?
Amen to that.
And speaking of money, let's talk about how much some of these tools cost.
Gosh, man, you're killing me.
You guys should know we're gonna.
I'm gonna have to get up and go take a bio break here before we're halfway through the show.
Me is like at 30 minutes we're gonna do a quick little bumper. And I think what we might have to do is just all go pee.
It's going to be that.
We'll be back.
It'll be like the little man, like, with the wires, like, be right back,
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I've got to do it. Tool.
Everybody out in the audience is going to be like, oh, have you ever heard about that when MASH had a commercial break and they said like the water consumption went, or it rose up at a commercial break because everybody was like, I got to go to the bathroom. That's what's going to happen on this show too.
That's awesome.
So yeah, what's free, you guys? Tell us what's free and what do you think you should spend money on for some of these TOOLS? Right.
Feedly's free, right?
Yep, it is.
Social, I think, has a free version.
Right, they all have a free version, obviously. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then but some of them I know we choose to pay. Like I was for Hootsuite, I was managing a couple, and I was managing some accounts. I would now it's just me, so I just use the free version of it. But I know they've got some updates to it too. So says Mike Allton, who's probably written 4 blogs since the show started. What do you think?
At least.
I will say this, and Mike, you're going to love this. I actually pay for Hootsuite. So, I do.
It's money in Mike's pocket, but yeah, it is exactly.
You might like it more if you used his affiliate link first.
Then there's that.
No, I'm kidding. I'm actually kidding. I want to go on record because this is getting saved to YouTube. Mike's in Missouri, and I don't think there's a whole thing with affiliate links. So if I misspoke, Mike, I want to apologize publicly on YouTube so you don't get in trouble.
Right. Please ignore what he just said.
Yeah, strike that from the record, please.
Exactly.
But, the other thing is Nodex.
Yes.
Not 3x. That is completely free for everybody that's on Google+. Lee and his team have done a really great job. And actually, Stephan and I were talking about this in a strategy meeting the other day. And that is using Nodex as a listening and an engagement tool is really effective for Google+. Because you can log in as your page, for instance, and bam, load up your activities, start taking a look, and then actually, Lee, you'll have to correct me on this if I'm wrong, but you can also do a lot of monitoring for your brand mentions at the same time.
I wonder if they're listening, by the way, because we already have a comment from No3X. Thanks for the recommendation so far. Listening, right? They're literally listening. Here's a couple other comments real quick. Or we could all wear catheters during the show. Thank you.
No man who's ever had a catheter would ever put that in a comment. I promise you.
I think everybody's either cringing or laughing. Both. Yes. And here's another one. When you watch the Mia Connect afterwards, you are either very tipsy or you make a lot of bathroom trips. Hashtag tool. Thank you, Candace, for the hashtag. Exactly. All right, guys, you ready to jump into another question? I like this one from Susan Serra, which, by the way, Susan, I owe you an email. Thank you for your kind email. After my food and booze, that's probably what Candace is referring to, was food and booze with Chef Dennis yesterday. Here's a good question. I'm anti-self-promotion to an extreme regarding my services on Google+. What's a good way to promote without worrying that others are annoyed at seeing promotional posts or information? That is a good one, and I'm going to make you post in this event what you do, Susan, just for that. But guys, what do you have on that one?
So I can
go first if you want.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just say one thing, because it happened to me this morning. Because Rebekah featured me on her brand new podcast as her first guest. So I'm like, my God, I got books coming out, I got Pinterest boards coming out, I'm on a show today, my wife's on a show right after this. There's way too much Stephan right now. So what do I do? And what I would recommend, because I think people respond to this a little bit better, lift up somebody else. So if you can, like in Rebekah's case, I was like, dude, she's just totally awesome. I'm honored, but it's all about her. Because she just congratulations to Rebekah for doing this podcast. It's totally awesome, blah, blah, blah. I didn't mean blah, blah, blah like that, but, finish the sentence. But it's a way to kind of put information out there that where you're involved, but it's not like, hey, come look at me and, buy my stuff and look at everything that I'm doing. So lift up somebody else, or at least give them a takeaway, something that you thought was special or important, so that it's not like, hey, Mom, look what I just did.
I like to call it, let me build you up, Buttercup.
There you go.
Cue the song. Seriously, that is a perfect thing to say.
To add to what Stephan is saying there is that I think that there is a time and a place for self-promotion. We're all human beings, right? So we definitely have that need to tell people about what's going on. And from a business standpoint, our job is marketing. And let's face it, Google Plus is a business network, right? So we're all here in one way or another to do business. And once you've built up that trust and that authenticity with people, it's okay, I think, to really talk to people and say, hey, I offer Google Plus brand page management services. I offer a tool that's going to make, a tool that is going to help you measure your Google Plus analytics. That's okay, but I think it's about when and how you do it. You can't just, of course, do a link dump, right? But if it's
Oh, go ahead, hon.
No, it's your show. You go ahead.
I'm going to talk right over you, Beth. I agree, and because I think that's a little bit of a problem sometimes here, is that it's not really clear what people do.
Right. Yeah. So tell people what you do, absolutely, but put it in the context of the conversation.
Blog posts are great for that too. I mean, it's just more like you're leading somebody to your website, right?
Exactly. And like as Stephan was saying, is if you're in, let's say you're in a conversation, right? And the conversation is what's the best way for me to, connect? I'm having a problem with YouTube and connecting it to my brand page. What do I do? Right? And let's say you offer Hangout services, Ronnie Pincer, You know.
Use my affiliate link though.
but it's not out of this world, and it's not going to make you a horrible person to say, you know what? Check out the Hangout Mastery Group. It's my group. It's an awesome resource, and it's going to help you out. You know, by the way, and in Rhonda's, you know, by the way, hey, this person is probably going to be the best fit for you. It's totally self-promotional, but at the same time, it's educational, and you really are helping somebody.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point. Well, exactly. Yeah, no, and I couldn't agree more. First of all, you can't keep yourself a secret. If people don't know what you do, how can they support your business? How can they refer you? How can they, you know, share your content in a meaningful way that actually benefits? And as you said, Mia, we're all here for profit. I don't think that's a secret. But it's finding that balancing act. It's definitely a situation where, Ben, you make such a great point about keeping the conversation in context. You've got to earn the right, in my opinion, to share that kind of content as well. So you've got to build that relationship. You've got to make those connections. You've got to build a community that really cares about what you're sharing, what you're talking about, and then what products, what services you're offering, because otherwise it's just going to fall on deaf ears anyway.
Eric, I love that, and you know, here's a tip I have too. I was telling somebody the other day, and this is more for an in-person type of thing, but I ask a lot of people to give me a one-sheeter about what they do, not for me to give to a potential client, but for me to understand what it is. And on that one-sheeter, I have them tell me what their mission is, their favorite kind of client. If I could refer anybody to them, like if you had a dream client, you know, is it that they have a ton of money to spend? Everybody loves that. You know, but then and then tell me, you know, what they do, what their services are, and their favorite kind of client. And that's really nice for me to say, now I understand what this person does. So even if you're not going to give it to somebody, I say we all should be tasked to go, what do you do? And can you put it on a nice little one-sheeter that you can send to me as a PDF, and then I have it as a reference.
Yeah, so the way I look at this whole thing is what you really want to do is you want to show what you do while publicly helping others. And if you do that, you have a really good way of exposing it to everybody. And then the other thing to think about, because, you know, at the beginning of this show, we all had that time, that short little bit for our elevator pitch. So, but that sort of illustrates the concept here, right? So well, get your elevator pitch down. That's a good thing to do. But that was like, what, a minute or 2 minutes out of an hour-long show, right? So you earn your commercial time maybe in a ratio of, you know, 1 minute for every 30 or something like that, right? So you have to invest a lot of time to get there. But when you do, then you actually do get that pure commercial moment. But other than that, show your stuff by helping others publicly.
I think they nailed that one. That one's good.
You know what, Mia? I would say this is, how about this for this show? 2 calls to action, right? So everybody in the audience, out of all the posting that you're doing all day long, take at least one of those posts, help somebody, and tell them what you do. So that's call to action number 1. Call to action number 2. Today, right now, during this show,
I love Ben's hand motions.
Tell us what you think about what Eric, Stephan, Rebekah, Mia, and myself just said, and now tell us what you do and how it relates to that conversation.
Get it. So says Ben Fisher, by the way. And we're almost at our bumper time, so if anybody has to go tinkle, make it quick, because I'm going to tell you what's going on. You are watching and listening to the Mia Connect Power Chat. I'm going to go through each one. Stephan Hovnanian, Rebekah Radice, Eric Enge, and Ben Fisher. And it's good stuff, party people. And you just got a call to action. We still have 30 minutes to go. So what do you think about us now? Right? How you like me now? All right, let's go to a couple more questions. Y'all ready? Here's a good one. Speaking of posting, Mike Allton, who now has written 4 more blogs since we last mentioned his name, says, help the audience understand what best time to post means and how to determine it. Good one.
Stephan, go first.
What's that?
I said, Stephan, you go first.
Save the unicorns, baby. So for those of you who don't know what that phrase comes from.
I don't. What does that mean?
No. Oh, so was it like a year ago, almost a year ago, maybe not that long. I've gotten totally sick of the best time to post infographics, which totally lack context, and a couple other things. So I flat out said it on Google Plus that every time somebody posts one of those kinds of infographics, a unicorn dies. So, and it just kind of became a little subcultural thing with like circle.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know that until now. I really am.
That's okay. But yeah, I mean, in my view, with the whole best time to post thing, and Mike's totally right. You got to understand what it like why and the context and things like that, because everything you do has a bunch of pieces that go along with it. So it isn't just post it and see what happens. It's post because you want click-throughs or because you want conversation or whatever. So you got to start with your outcome, and then you can figure out when everybody's there and the context around what you're asking them to do and when and what devices they might be on, all that stuff, and what time zone they're in, because everybody forgets that one in those infographics. 1 p.m. for who, and then from there, you can.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that. You're so right.
Yeah.
1 p.m. for who? Mine's MT Mia time, but that could be different for you.
That's the way I'm going to think about it forevermore. Mia time.
It is. It's not mountain time. It's Mia time. Exactly.
Mia time. No, it's true, and especially on Google Plus because it's such a global audience. You really got to think about what time you want people to be responding to. The other thing, like the example, so the article I wrote on it, but the example in it was, if you want somebody to click through and buy something, you may not want to post at a time when your audience is on the phone, like is riding home on a subway or could potentially be driving around and sees your post in a social stream, but can't click through and actually check out because that's better done on a desktop. So it might make total sense to post something to get great engagement at 6 p.m. Eastern, but if you want actual shopping, maybe the best thing to do is 10 p.m. Eastern. Right. I don't know, but you only know this by looking at the analytics.
And test, right, people? You just
and really knowing your audience. Like you said, Stephan, if for example, if your audience is moms, well, posting, before 8 a.m. might be a bad move. They're busy. They're getting the kids ready for school. They're running around. They might not be on social media at that time. So it's really understanding who your target market is and when they're spending their time online. Just as there's no one-size-fits-all strategy to social media, I think it's exactly the same as far as timing. And Stephan, your unicorn just cracks me up because it's so true. How do you know what 1 p.m. Eastern, is it 1 p.m. Eastern? Is it Mia time? Is it, Pacific time? What does that look like? So you you got to pay attention to your analytics. You have to know what has performed well in the past, what time did you post that, what kind of interaction are you getting, and then, of course, like I said, really understanding who your target market is and just knowing what their usage of social media is. Is it after they put the kids to bed? Is it during the day because they work overnights?
Right.
So just know their patterns.
I'm going to throw in one more practical one, seasons as well. Is it summertime? Is it, is it something where people are going to be out all the time? Is it wintertime? And, we might be skiing here in Colorado, but, it could be something where, people are just home and kind of hanging out. So I really do think, again, it's back to you got to just test it out and throw things out there and see, see where your patterns go. Right, guys?
Yeah, and it can change over time, too, what the right answer is.
Mm-hmm.
Because if everybody learns that the best time is, say, 1 p.m. Mia time, right? That's a meme, by the way. Just Mia time. We're all in Mia time, but that's beside the point. And then everybody starts throwing. That becomes the big content glut. So you may learn what the best time for you is, and then a half year later, it might have moved on you. So you got to keep testing.
Yeah, keep an eye out. Here's a good one, by the way. Check this out. Sprout Social. Loving the chat today. So much fun. Thanks for the shout-outs, Stephan, Rebekah, and Ben. And that's from Brett. So she's listening. She's got her ear up. That's
I know.
awesome.
It's amazing.
I'm digging this. Okay.
Real quick on time. So, and everybody is dead on with everything they've said. Well, of course, especially for me at times.
I'm just saying.
But and this is partially self-promotional, because steadydemand.com. I mean, you know, our Pro Tool, right? One of the key features in the Pro Tool is time of day, and we ended up actually writing an algorithm that would make it very deadly accurate to find out how your audience that you currently have is reacting to your posts and the post types. So, you know, to piggyback on what Eric was just saying is analyze it. Take the time to look at the data, look at it objectively. If you know that, for instance, your photo post or your event post at 3, 4, and 9 p.m., you know, whatever your time zone is really resonating excellently, you're getting a lot of comments at that time, a lot of shares at that time, then you know what? Maybe you should do that more often. Or you might find out that those times are great, but the article types that you're doing are actually links, and those are getting a best signal to post ratio. So maybe you should do more link posts at those times. And then I also encourage, take a look at your 3 worst times. So take those 3 worst times, match those up with your best post types, and now all of a sudden, boom.
That sounds magically delicious. Do you know what I mean? Like you get your 2 finest things together, and then it all works. You have to think about international as well. Like you know, we all of us go to bed at a certain time. I know. A shout out to my girl Lainey Sullivan. She's really built a lot because first of all, she doesn't sleep, so then there's that. But she does a ton of posting in the middle of the night and gets this. She's gotten a lot of people overseas that she would not have connected to had she not tried out some different time zones.
One of my best posts, defining wise, like the G+ career side of me, you know, the defining moment type things, was at 2 a.m. It was like right before I went to bed. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to toss this one out there before I go to bed. And a couple people in Greece picked it up.
Nice.
And then David Amerlin picked it up, and then, you know, that just kind of took on a life of its own. I woke up to, I'm like, this is awesome. I didn't even share the blog post yet. Like, screwed up my whole strategy, to be honest with you.
Right. Now I got to stay up till 2 a.m.
Got to respond the whole day.
Yeah, but the embarrassing part is it happened because your head fell over on the keyboard and you didn't even know you sent the post.
Right. It's like, and then it just posted. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see what else we have here. I had a question from, let's see, Jessica Maynard. Let's switch gears a little bit. She says, wanted to ask, I use flash sales with reasonable success on Facebook for my boutique. How well does this translate to Google+? Thanks, Mia. We answered it beforehand, but let's talk about that. What's your thoughts on that? Because I know the answer, but jump in.
The answer is no.
It doesn't translate well.
Until at least Shoppable Hangouts come out.
That's what the other answer we were saying. Now that's pretty exciting. What do you guys think about that? Let's talk about Shoppable Hangouts.
That's you, Eric.
They're awesome, actually. We had Ria Tabakawala on the DME show a few weeks back, and we talked all about Shoppable Hangouts. And right now, they're just doing very limited beta tests with them. But the experience is that you can imagine the Hangout you're looking at right now, but with a right sidebar. I think it's with 3 icons that you can click, which will bring out a page where you can actually buy stuff. And if you can marry that into the content, right? Show and really bring it out.
Did you see me fanning myself, by the way? I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yes. I thought it was saying, give me more, give me more.
Yeah, well, that too.
So, you know, it's a fantastic kind of thing to do. And you can imagine a whole science evolving about how you structure the content to drive in. I mean, imagine right now if you were to do an NFL gear show, right, with the NFL draft going on, with jerseys for the new people that were taken by your team in the first round. It'd be nuts.
Holy moly. I bet, by the way, Sonny, Cadwallader. Honey, I said your name right again. She says, sigh, the sports news cycle never sleeps around the world. It's always a good time to post. Add that with what you just said. She's definitely wetting her pants, I bet.
Okay, this is the TMI show. Thank you very much.
Actually, it sounds like the bodily function show. We've mentioned it several times now.
No, they're closely related.
Exactly. Anybody else on that one? That is, you're right. No, Eric, think about that. Like you adding in these two functions and getting the jerk, because everybody loves their swag, and they're getting all excited. So.
Well, if you could use it in combination with a product demo too, or a product launch, which would just be sick. It's like, here, everybody, here's exactly how it works, and if you click this button, you can buy it.
Exactly. Imagine Kickstarter campaigns and being able to buy directly from it, or imagine watching the Mia Connect show and being able to buy a BatCrapCrazy glass.
Exactly. The giant wine glass. Although, did you guys see the comment yesterday that somebody said that's why I use the Mickey Mouse hand with the giant wine glass, so my wine glass doesn't look so big. So they're on to me. They're on to me on that one. No, I love that. And how long do you think that's out? Anybody want to conjecture? And then we can come back and say you were right for Shoppable Hangouts to get out of beta?
I'm going to shoot for December, January.
And hopefully, honestly, you guys, we would hope sooner, because let's hope like October, November, because the buying season's coming, and then we would all just be like shop for the holidays.
I'm going to give you a very specific date, just because I want to be right, or from September 17th.
Ooh, everybody write that in there, because that's coming back on it. I think I like that date.
It's
that's soon enough.
Sunday, for all I know. I didn't check this out, So.
I like how you're going with your gut, though, on this one. That was a good one. All right. Any other comments on that, guys? Because then we're getting at about 41 past the hour, and we're going to get into BatCrapCrazy and, what's on the, and I'm not going to say what we're going to do, what's on today, but you guys know it. So any other comments any other questions you want to answer real quick, or anything that's come up? Anybody? Because I've got another question if you're ready.
Crickets, go.
Yep, it's all good. I like this one. This is from Neil, and I know we won't be able to get that all, but assuming you or your client has an active and a well-optimized profile on, all the letters, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google+, Pinterest, is there a best practices set of tools, apps, processes one could use to amplify, I know we've already gotten into this, but his or her social updates, cross-posting to these big other social channels at the risk of being perceived too tech automated or too impersonal? Using Friends plus Me to cross-post from Google+ to Facebook, Twitter is less effective than manually post to these other socials. I use Scoop It in a similar manner. Any insight on that? Because you do have to be careful. I've seen it when it does look like, dude, I know you're sleeping.
So the only thing I'll say about that, at least with Friends plus Me, is that they've recently implemented a feature to actually set those reposts into kind of like a draft mode almost.
Okay.
So you put your post on Google+, it puts it into a queue, then you can go in later, say in the evening, edit them up properly for each network.
Excellent.
And then set them to go.
That is awesome. And let me tell you, kind of funny, because I do the Friends plus Me, and I did a post the other day. My Google Plus post is not linked. I need to take it off. LinkedIn friendly. What I hate about LinkedIn also is that you can't find your post. You have to scroll through unless I'm missing something. Right on LinkedIn.
No, it's a project. You go to like the more thing right now, at least. Who knows? They might change it tomorrow. But you go to like the in the stream. There's like a settings thing, and you go to My Updates or Your Updates, I guess it's called.
Okay.
And you can see the things that you've posted because I guess it doesn't make sense.
Well, and then here's my example: is I posted something about Colorado, and then I did the hashtag, and I don't even smoke pot, which I thought was funny, but on LinkedIn that may not go. And I started to delete it. I'm like, forget it. They know me over there too. So, but it's that kind of thing where if you'd want to modify and control it. Anybody else on that? Any other answers on that one? On that question? Because I know you said
good direction with it is that you just have to expect to do a certain amount of tweaking if you really actually care about that other platform, right?
Yes.
There's just no platform that does well by robotically shoving stuff at it. So I like Ben's answer. I think it was really good. Some way of tweaking. If you're not using Friends and Me, then have a college intern give you revised drafts tweaked for each platform and review it that way. Something along those lines to try to make it cheaper and faster.
That's the first time we brought that up. When you think about that, of having help, of having somebody that's going to take things off your hands and get your highest and best use of time. You know how I love to say that. And Rebekah, go ahead.
The thing I would add is just, and I don't use Friends Plus Me, so I don't know if it does this, but the thing that really helps make a tweet or a social post, right, on any network really feel a little more authentic is if there's tagging going on, right? If you're tagging somebody, because in most cases the only way to do that is to do it from the social network, although there's a cheat for Google+. So if you're able to do that for each of them, then at least it'll feel more authentic. So, I mean, again, I'm not sure the best way to approach it, but I would think when you're looking at automation or if you're looking at anything along those lines with the cross-posting, I mean, try and work in whatever you can to make it, have people tagged and stuff, because that also pulls them together, right? That pulls more people into the conversation to let them know that you're talking about them. That's important because, that's part of what social media is all about. The social part.
Well, yeah, imagine that. I think the idea there is automation is great in moderation, and it's really there to allow you to do what Stephan's talking about, which is come in and actually have a conversation and answer questions, respond to people, and actually keep that conversation going. But the hard part is, and I think we've pretty much covered this here, is you really, if you want to be effective on each social network, you've got to take the time to properly craft a post, an image, whatever it might be, that is specific for that social network, because unfortunately it just does not translate. They haven't made it easy for us in that sense.
They have not.
I think that could kind of almost be summed up by saying if you care about that audience, don't automate it.
There you go. Yeah.
I kind of like that, Ben. I do, because I think you miss out on a lot as well. If you're just like, oh, boom, I'm done for the day, and then you're not going to go back, and especially you guys are right, of you really do need to. You can't have a post that doesn't have something hashtagged or someone referenced in it, because then you're just blasting out there. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's also important for people to understand that you don't have to be everything to everybody. Likewise, you don't have to be everywhere. So this really goes back to identifying where your market is spending their time and where your time is best spent. Mia, you said it. What's your highest and best use of your time? Not everybody has the time to go in and build relationships on Google+, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Pinterest. And while we'd love to be able to do that, it just might not be feasible. So you need to figure out where you're getting your, I guess, most bang for the buck.
And I love that. I'm going to pull up one more comment. This is from Joe Ray. He says he uses two tools, Circloscope and Craig Chamberlin. He is not calling Craig Chamberlin a tool, though. Thank you for clarifying that. I love that, too. So before we start getting and wrapping up into this, let's each go through, and with that point of what do you think the top three, and I think I know everyone's answer, but the top three that you like because I really do think you should stick with either 2 or 3 platforms. That's just me. But what are your top 3 platforms? I know what the top one is that you guys think everybody should be in for social media. Who wants to go first? Stephan, I'm going to pick you. Go.
Why not? All right. Well, I would say Google+, Twitter.
Of course. Yep.
Because that's just where so much is happening so quickly. And then, let's see, if I have to pick a third, I know I talk a lot about Pinterest and and things like that. I don't know how social it is, so for me, I still haven't figured that out yet. I still think LinkedIn's a little too clunky to be a good social network, so I'm going to say email.
I love that you said that. I was waiting to see if you were going to bring it up. I like it. I like that. That's your top 3. And then, of course, everyone, this is based on just overall. Everything is going to be very different depending on your industry and what you do. So, that's going back to what we were talking about getting clear about what you do, right? And then you could choose it from there. But, Rebekah, I'm going to go to you, sweetie. What would be your top 3?
Well, again, it goes back to what your goals are. But from a traffic point of view, it's got to be Google+, Pinterest, and Twitter.
Gotcha. I like those. Are my top 3. I love it. How about you?
Super supportive. If you're a blogger, if you're a content marketer, if you're creating content, I just think you have to be there.
I like it. I like it. How about you, Eric?
So let's see. What should I pick first? I'm
going to give you 3 guesses and only one counts.
Yeah. Okay. So I start off the same as Stephan, Google Plus, and then Twitter, and then for the third one, I'm going to throw a different wrinkle at you. Right now, I'm hoping that I'll find more time to do a little more dabbling than I have so far to make something out of LinkedIn, and I'm going to tell you why I think that's kind of an interesting thing to explore. Lots of decision makers on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that I need a huge audience because I might be able to build the right audience. Don't really have a conclusion on that because it's like I have publishing rights, so I've poked at it a couple of times, and I need to do more poking, but I'm hopeful. That's number 3.
Well, I like that you're talking about finding it's not about, don't be a size queen. You didn't say that. I'm just saying it.
Or a size king, as the case may be, because
or size king.
After all, size doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, that's what she said. So, but it's finding the right audience. Gosh, I love that we can be so saucy on this show, don't you guys?
Do I play a good straight man for you here?
You are excellent. I think if you want to ditch Mark, I'm just saying.
Mark's
never going to sing to me and play the mandolin for me again, is he? Yeah. All right, and Brother Ben, how about you?
Okay, so I think we were all saying this probably about a week ago, and that is if you're asking about social network, I can't include Google Plus because Google Plus is a social platform. Right? We need to all be calling it a social platform instead of a social network.
Okay.
But if we're going to call it a social network, of course it's number 1. It's my business, right? And I've met all my great, really best friends here. So in that sense, it is a social network. But for social networks, really for me, I would say LinkedIn, definitely number 1. Because Eric is 100% correct. Decision makers are there.
They are.
If you pay for it, you can connect with anybody. When you marry those together with Salesforce, and actually I'm going to give everybody a really big tip right now that they can do for free. If you ever want to be able to connect with somebody, you don't know who it is, and you don't have any of their contact information, but you really want to connect with them, go to connect.data.com.
Okay.
It is a free portion of Salesforce. It's aside from Salesforce, and it's a business card exchanging service. I discovered it about 2 weeks ago. I've been able to connect with Fortune 500 companies on a consistent basis.
Nice.
Just by using the system, and it doesn't cost a dime.
Don't use it for stalking, though, people.
No, it's just great for connecting with people. I mean, you can make a phone call and boom, you're on the line with the person, the decision maker. So for me, it really goes Google Plus, LinkedIn, and from secondary from that, I really try not to waste time. And I hate to say it, but to me, it's wasting time.
It can be. If you're trying to be too many things to too many people in too many places, I always say you can do 10 things well or 50 things crappy.
Yeah. I respond to people on Twitter. I will admit it, I automate Twitter. I use Social Oomph to just, actually Mike Allton just recently did a really great piece about it that included the information about Social Oomph. And so I've set up a queue of things to go, and boom, I let it rip. And if somebody mentions me or replies to me, then I reply back to them. And, for Facebook, I go back to Facebook maybe once a week just because I still have stubborn friends.
I was just over there this morning because Stephan did a great picture, so it is kind of fun to do that. Listen, we are at 53 past the hour. We're going to segue on the what's part, and then we're going to do BatCrapCrazy's and call to action. It looks like Stephan's back. You got your girl all settled over there, Stephan?
We're still working on it. The Chromebook isn't cooperating, but we'll see what happens.
But with that being said, y'all need to head over and watch Sheffy's show because Stephan's wife. This is her. Is this her first appearance?
Technically speak, well, her second. Technically, she was. I had her on Google Plus Business Spotlight in the beginning of the year.
Okay. All right, guys. So here's my question. Instead of what's on the bottom, it's going to be what's on your feet. You ready? Everybody, what's on your feet? Me, I got nothing.
I'm just
You're naked.
just like you. Nothing.
Let me see. That's my
This is hard
girl.
to do.
It is hard to do. Ben, I missed it.
That was really difficult. You
It
should
was.
have warned us we were going to do aerobics this morning.
Oh, yeah. You haven't heard the what's on the bottom thing. That's when I make people stand up. And a lot of times my shorter guests are like, you can't see. You just see their waist. That's my new thing. I might do what's on the desk next time, but I need to be warned and clean off my own desk. Because that would not be good. Like, all right, guys, let's do BatCrapCrazies and call to action. And for those of you in the audience that, for some unknown reason, don't know what the BatCrapCrazy is, that is the time when my guests get to say what they are BatCrapCrazy about. That can be a person, place, or thing, a business. It can be a show. It could be Bob Voss. You never know. But it's the time when people get to talk about what they love, and that's what we should all be doing, talking about what we love. So I'm going to start with Eric, you're up. What are you BatCrapCrazy about, and what do you want us to know or want us to do after this?
Okay, so I'm going to share an experience that I was BatCrapCrazy about.
I like it.
It was a bareboat charter through the Virgin Islands that I took. There's two couples, 32-foot boat, sailing from harbor to harbor, cooking dinner on the hibachi on the back, drinking Black Russian, skinny dipping. It was an awesome experience. What could be better than having done that? So that's something I'm actually BatCrapCrazy about Caribbean islands actually in general. So
that what's on the bottom would have been interesting on that show, on that boat.
Yeah, well, okay, so yeah, I don't know about that part, but
I love it. I love it. And what do you want us to go do besides book a trip like that ASAP? Goodness.
So is this a business thing?
It's a bit. This is your time. Let's pitch it.
Okay, there you go. Well, what I want you to do is you get all this advice from all these great people, and you can read it all over the place. But I really want you to think about what's going to make all of that advice work for you, right? So your platform where you can perform, whether you're a blog poster or a speaker or a social media person, which platform, it's as different as possibly could be for everybody. It's going to be a different answer for everybody. Find your answer, what makes it work for you. I
like it. I like that. And then where should we find you?
You can find me, well, at stonetemple.com or plus Eric Enge. It says it right there.
Nice.
Or at Stone Temple, that's up there. I don't know if it fits. Green. Here, I'll tilt it. There we go. Hey,
everybody needs to get them some.
Temple. There you go.
That's
so you
awesome.
can find me in any of those places.
Excellent, my friend. All right, let's go on over to Ben Fisher. What's your BatCrapCrazy, and what do you want us to do? Where can we find you, and what's some good advice?
Okay, so my BatCrapCrazy, definitely, it was David Amerland and Mick Sharp. Been on quite a few shows this week, and by far favorite, Eric, was an awesome show. Thank you, Eric, for having me on. But it's really, to me, it's all about the content curation that they're both doing, which is just fantastic.
Makes our lives easier, doesn't it?
It is. And yesterday when we were on when David was on the show, just the other day with me and Stephan, he revealed, his 45-minute secret of how he does the Sunday read. And actually, Stephan just put out a post about it this morning. I mean, and so that's my BatCrapCrazy, is just a huge shout out to those guys.
Gotcha.
And as a call to action, my call to action is that if you can, take 45 minutes and make your own read of the day. Do something really awesome and creative, and
even if it hurts.
Passion. Exactly. Right. Even if it hurts, but strategically, it's great because it helps you build your brand, your reputation, and really do something. And then as far as my other call to action is that steady demand. We're ramping up for version 2.0 on the Pro Tool.
Hey.
Okay. So if you don't already have a Steady Demand Pro account, it's 14 days for free. No risk. Okay. So go to steadydemand.com. Up in the upper right-hand corner, click on Pro, sign up for the demo. We need users to go in there and bang the heck out of it and give us feedback because version 2 is coming right around the corner.
How often do you hear that people want you to do? I'm telling you, I love it. Stephan, I'm gonna run over to you because I know you got to go get girlfriend all hooked up. What's your BatCrapCrazy, and what do you want us to do?
Oh well, they're kind of one and the same. I'm just uber excited about the next 2 books coming out for Google Plus Pro Tips. So excited about them, and so I want you to buy them.
As well, we should. And everybody, we're going to post our links in here too for everything that everybody's doing. So I appreciate it. And then Miss Rebekah, what are you BatCrapCrazy about, sweetie? And what do you want us to do?
Local businesses with amazing customer service. I had an experience this week with my local vet. The situation took my dogs in, just a routine check. One did not respond well to all of the shots. I ended up calling the vet because he was extremely sick. It was probably 10 o'clock at night, and called the vet. Not only did my vet answer, but she spent 15 minutes with me just talking, kind of talking me off the ledge of, what was going on, and then called the next day just to check up on him and see how he was doing. So my call to action would be maybe twofold. One, give a shout out to your favorite local business here in the comments.
Please.
And 2, go tell them how amazing they are. Go, find them today, sometime this weekend, because you can't tell them enough, I don't think, because I can imagine they probably don't hear it enough, just how appreciated they are for the amount and the level of customer service that they are offering. It's just amazing to me that there are still people out there that are just phenomenal at what they do, have such compassion, and again, like I said, I just can't imagine they hear it enough from us how appreciated they truly are.
They're the backbone, small business, right?
Yeah,
especially the ones that take care of our 4-leggeds or our 3-leggeds, depending on what kind of
our little family members.
What kind of family members they have. And then where do you want us to go? Because you have it right on your label, RebekahRadice.com.
Yes. You got it.
I love
Find
it.
me there.
And I'm going to loop in on what Rebekah said, and is also encourage these businesses, if they don't have a Google Plus local page or a Google Plus page, get on there, and then you can go and write a review about them, right, guys? Like write a review of the business, because that's what I did with a restaurant that we went to for the food and booze with Chef. I went and we all wrote a review for it. So that's one way to shout it out too. My BatCrapCrazy is also for local business. This is from Plum Consignment that I just love. So I like shiny. How about that? So yay, Plum Consignment. That's it. So all right, guys, we are good to go for the rest of the show. Thank you so much to Ben, Eric, Rebekah, and Stephan. Anything else, guys? Or are we out of here?
I think we is out of here.
Thank you. And we'll be posting on the comments, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.